Cheers to you, my friend, because you better be cheerful. I know where you are after the elections, and the Americans spoke, and the Americans spoke loud and clear. It doesn't favor me, it doesn't favor most of my family members, my wife, and some relatives, and everybody that I know of right now. Right now, I think we are trying to figure out how do we stand tall and still say it's not right. Well, you can. You can choose that path of saying it's not right. I want to make it better. That's a good path to choose, honestly, because when the results came, it's quite evident that some are in shock. Some are saying, I told you so. But I think Karl Marx had a point. Karl Marx, the philosopher, the people call him the wise man in the Middle Ages. I don't know. Wise man Karl Marx one time said that religion is an opium of the masses. He could be right. Can I add? Politics is the opium of the new masses. I think we can top that on each other. They just seems to be on the same platform, the same chambers, the echo chambers of, yes, religion could be the opium of the masses, so is politics. Um, I think I was ready for these results. I think I prepared myself for this outcome, unlike 2016, where I think I didn't see this coming. But I think when people have been held hostage by somebody of this character, somebody who seems to have that man power, he speaks from the gut. He's a man of grit, and he can spew anything. It can help. It can hold people. It can be a spell. It can be the opium, and he has succeeded in intoxicating the masses. But I'll celebrate something from these elections myself. I will. There are two women who are elected in the as senators for the first time into the Senate chambers of this country. I think we need to find what to celebrate, and I'll celebrate those two women. I hear there's a woman in Minnesota who was elected. I'll follow up maybe on that. Maybe I can share with you. So, there's some things that we can celebrate. It's very hard. It's very hard to see beyond the gloom. It's like hurricane. Sometimes when the hurricane hits, sometimes if you were you ready? I'm not saying I was ready for this outcome, so to speak. You always hope, oh man, I think something different happens. But again, it's politics. It's what it is. I think women should celebrate the two senators. They should celebrate even Kamala giving the run. I think we should have sometimes something to hang on to. Otherwise, we're gonna sink, get into depression. I went into depression 2016. I don't think I was the same after that. It was almost like a shock to my system. But again, a villain, a despot, a convict, a felon, they can make it to the White House. Go figure that one. If it was a black house, he's wearing a different outfit. So anyway, enough of politics for me. I think I'll say, you know what? I'm grumbling with it. I'm wrestling with the post results. Um, I think what surprises me a little bit kind of checks me out, and I think it's this idea of manhood, the myth of manhood, and even Kenyan man saying, "I'd rather have Trump." Kenyan saying they rather have Trump. They have Ruto. They need to deal with that first. They have the president in that country who has pretty much stacked them up with what part of the area. So I don't know why Kenyans can speak from that arena saying they want Trump. They have to deal with their local one. So they have their local Trump. So I would say be careful what you ask for. It could be in your neighborhood. So politics for me, I've tried to stay away from it. I've learned my lessons in 2016. to veer away and find some edifying, dignifying, something to celebrate in this world of humanity. Because there's beautiful things in this world, honestly. There's a lot of beautiful things. You really find out in all this stuff, you'll find beautiful gems. It takes a lot of work to find that in this maze, in this mayhem of politics and all that, even in athletics. Because in this episode of 90, I'll say it's the 77th, Sabina Saba. Karibuni sana. Welcome, man. Welcome. Hey, listen. Try to crack the smile on your face if the results are dumping you down. I'm just urging you because the path, I think the thing that the toxicity and what you see in a character, because to be honest with you, it's about character. I don't mind Republicans, honestly. I think I found out that if all the world was Democratic or Democrat, it would be boring. If the whole world is just one little thing, it becomes very hard to see. I think seeing the other side is beautiful. But to see that character, that representation of a party that I think has good things, I suspect there are good people in the Republican Party, in any other diversity. But to see that as the representation is, yeah, it blows your mind away. You're like, what might have happened was. Anyway, so let me go to athletics just to give you some, what I call fresh stuff to look at. So I think there were nominees for the Athletes of the Year, AOY of the year 2024. And I think you remember some of my episodes. I remember what episode that was. I advocated for, you know who. I think I was saying, Beatrice Chebet should be a runaway when it comes to the women category. I advocated Emmanuel Wanyonyi should be my vote, and I voted for them. But again, it's like I voted for Kamala Harris. The results have been anything but what I expected. So in athletics, I did the same thing, and the results haven't been favoring me. So from politics to athletics, it's been downhill for me the last 24 hours. But I can smile because that's what keeps me going, man. I have to be optimistic. I have to seek the higher ground. It's very easy to stay in the valley of Jehoshaphat and suck my thumb and woe unto me. Nah, let's look at what the finalists look like. So I'm looking here. People voted. It was like or dislike, or you don't vote. So people voted for the Athletes of the Year. I don't know how Jacob Engbersten makes the final, but he is. Let's see Letebogo, the Botswana 200 guy, makes it. I made a case for them, but it could not stand against Wanyonyi for me. That's just me. And then I tried to eliminate McLaughlin Levon Sydney, and I could not. I could not shake the fact that she's 400-meter hurdle record holder. She did very well in the Olympics. She won the gold in that. Great. But I try to say the relay is not gonna be something you tag into why she should be nominated or she should be in the finalist. I tried that, didn't stand the water. In fact, I gave Julian Alfred, the island of Lucien, some chance to be, because I think the fact that she kind of she's from an island, a small country, and she did very well. She represented the small country very well. I tried to give her those little votes, but not a lot of votes, because she won the gold, yes, in the 100, which is why I think she's here, is because 100 meters is a glamorous event in the Olympics. Maybe that's why, because it was, I suspect more people watched the 100 meters finals, women, than maybe Beatrice Chebet 5,000 and 10,000, and even the world record 20 in Eugene this year. Maybe that's why there's more viewers, so that the viewers who are going to vote. I think I see how that can happen. And then, of course, Duplantis, the guy, the poll voter from Sweden, Modo Duplantis, he's been voted. I can see why. I don't know why it wasn't in my other list that they gave me. I think it was what they call, this is what I was looking last time is track. I don't think I looked at the field events. And I think for me, Modo Duplantis should be here. Maybe I forgot to say, yeah, he's in the final. And the other one is the long jumper from Italy, Melitias Tekloglu. So those guys, to be honest with you, they belong in the final if it comes to the field events. So I'm okay with that. And then, of course, the Ukrainian Yaroslava Maljuki. She broke the high jump world record, which has been standing for a long time. Maybe she deserves to be there. But again, I don't know why she's ahead of Beatrice Chebet. I don't know. Oh, but that's field events. So yeah. She belongs there. Let me take it back. She's a field events. Those are field events. It's track and then field events. She belongs there. Hey, I take it back. I have to analyze myself a little bit. The other one was a race walker. They gave the race walker Brian Bintado. Oh, that's the guy who won the race walk. And I remember mentioning him. I think he's from Bolivia. Yeah, I think he's a Bolivian or Ecuador. Those countries of South America. Yeah, I remember mentioning him and I was really happy for him. He was very happy to win it. Yes, that I'll give him that. But the problem coming to these finalists that they didn't give us all those names to vote. So I don't know. And then what they call off the track or off the stadium, like marathon. So let's go to marathon. To see Sifan Hassan being in the final is not a surprise to me. Like I said, if you watch my other episode where I was trying to give a voice to these athletes, I mentioned her and I was saying why was she not in that nomination process? She deserves to be here. I think the surprise add-on here to this list of the finalists is Ruth Chemngetich. Yeah, she breaks the world record, 209. I understand that in Chicago. It's a late entry for me. Maybe they're just trying to make it more current as they vote, which is okay. I have a problem. I'll go back to this. I'll leave this as a disclaimer for me. Sydney McLaughlin, she did great. Don't get me wrong. World record holder 400 hurdles. I have a problem, and I'll say this very openly. I think there's a bias towards African women. I'm just speaking from what I've been seeing and I've been reading and I'm looking. I'm saying, why is Beatrice Chebet not here? Even Faith, for goodness sake. You can't give it to Captain Faith. She broke the world record. It was an event in Europe. She did a good job. 3:49 for 1500. I have a problem. I'm still gonna just jab this at African women. I think when it comes to voting, maybe it's some more Western who have access to this technology and they can vote and they have better viewing. They can see these women. And the other thing that I just found out today is she's in a swimsuit magazine. If men are gonna vote for McClurgan, LeBron, and she's in a swimsuit magazine, you know men and their struggles to stay away from that body. They'll just say, just give it to her. She's in a swimsuit magazine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But what I'm saying is in the profession of athletics, if it's the body we are going to vote for and the looks, African women have no chance. I keep saying this. They've been marginalized. They are being seen as not feminine enough. They are not seen as women enough. They don't represent that beauty of the Western eye. I'm just saying, if those votes are to be seen in their profession, in their discipline, in the event, in their work they've accomplished during the season, Beatrice Chebet should be in the final. In fact, there's something I was watching here. They are saying that, listen, I think this was the funniest for me. I think I like when Kenyans voice their anger when it comes to these things. They are very, very interesting. Let me read to you a very interesting that really caught my eye. I think you can just share this with me. They say the athletes are angry in Kenya. They are furious. Let me read to you the funny one. She says that if Beatrice Chebet is not in the final, honestly, let me tell you something. 10,000 world record this year for Beatrice Chebet, right? Gold medal in 5,000 against the top athletes in the world, and it was that close. And then 10,000 gold. Those are like, she grabbed the whole thing in three, so to speak. And she doesn't get to be in the finalist. I'm still struggling with this one. But I like this fan who wrote, Beatrice Chebet has obviously taken up gymnastics or something this season because there's no way she isn't in the finalists based on her season. While cross country, I forgot to mention that, champion, she is. 10,000 meters world record I just thought 28:54 54:14. 5,000 Olympic champ, 10,000 no 10,000 Olympic champion, right? And then 5,000 Diamond League champion. Absolutely outrageous. I like when Kenyans rally like me and say, why is Beatrice Chebet not in the last two in track and field? Track itself. Don't forget about field. Field, I've just talked of the Ukrainian Modo Duplantis, the pole vault. Wow. How does it happen? Like I said, I think for me, I'm just trying to look deeply and say maybe the voting was so more Western and accessibility to this technology on how to vote. Maybe Kenyans were late, or some other parts of the world were late to vote, and if you were late, they shut down. It was on Sunday. They shut down Sunday the 27th when the closing for vote was over. I tell you what, I'm disappointed again. So two disappointments for me in the last 24 or 48 hours. I'll live with disappointment, but I'll choose not to be depressed. I'll choose not for anybody to dictate. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'll celebrate what I can celebrate. The two senators, black, African American, who have made it to the Senate. I'll celebrate that. I'll celebrate the fight from Kamala Harris. I think she had a good fight, even if she was late into the race, given the fact that Joe Biden could not make it. And I'm gonna go athletics and say Beatrice Chebet deserves to be the athlete of the year. I don't care about how people look. She's from Kericho. Sheila Chipkirui just won the New York Marathon. This thing should be going to Kericho. Only Kericho athletes. I don't care about anything else in Kericho at the moment. I'm very specific about that. Sheila Chipkirui, New York winner. Beatrice Chebet from Kericho. And I tell you what, I have to say, in this world that women feel are still living in the shadows of men, and I think most of these votes that I'm hearing are predominantly men, and trying to say women don't deserve, I'm just gonna tell you what, I don't give an F. If somebody has it, a woman, a man, if it's decency, if it's a work they've done, if they are truly human about what they do, I'll give them my vote. But I can say, Karl Marx was very right. Religion is an opium of the masses, and politics is still an opium of the masses. If the 1940s can tell us anything about the opium and how people get high in politics and choosing leaders, and they chose a killer and a murderer, an exterminator of a people, we should be careful how we choose people. You get high on this thing that you're going to do and just going to stand there and just say, crucify him, exterminate them. They're immigrants, they are this, they are that. Be careful, man. Be careful in the rallies you go. Stand for something decent. I hope I did that today. I'm standing for decency and humanity and love and grace. Any day, anytime. I hope I continue doing this. It's for you, man. Tukuriada, man. Episode number 77, saying, cheer up, man. Life is still beautiful. Beyond the opium of the masses. Good night, and good day, and good life.